Hi and welcome back to another episode of Knights HQ podcast, brought to you by Maxwell Recruitment and Training, highly skilled labour hire and real world training from engineering, trades, construction to office administration. My name is Jay Nelson. Welcome back to Knights HQ and welcome back to my compadre, my second half, Matt Croker. You're back, mate. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, mate. Sorry about last week, mate. I had a little bit of an injury I had to get through, so I was mucking you around with the times and that. I just said, listen, just take one for the team and go solo. Just fly solo, JJ.
I did the intro, then I looked to my left and went, oh my God, all right.
How was the episode with Tamika? It was good?
It was awesome. It was awesome. It was such good timing because she just signed a deal. She just did her media for it and everything.
Yeah.
So,
well, what about this from one fullback to the other? We've got Tamika and our new guest today, who I'm so excited to have on because he's a bit of a quirk and he's a good bloke, Lachlan Miller.
Cheers, fellas. The pleasure is all mine.
What does a bit of a quirk mean?
Oh, he's just a bit quirky, you know. He's got these little attributes to him that are...
Bit odd.
Yeah, a bit odd, bit different. But that's what we love about him. He's good fun. How you going, mate?
Yeah, really good. Really good.
Really good.
Really excited to be on here and just excited for this weekend too.
Yeah. Enjoying your time?
Very much so. It's been a very enjoyable first couple of months and...
There's been some crazy emotions in the last couple of weeks. In the last month alone, we had the draw against Manly where it was so tight, and then we had obviously the game on the weekend.
Yeah, the draw against Manly, I thought was probably one of the hardest games I've ever been involved in.
Yeah.
And then we back it up 2 weeks later with an even harder game. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to go through that.
Yeah. Just give us an easy one. Yeah. Just give us an easy one this weekend.
A few emotional roller coasters to start with. Hopefully we get them out of the way early and, we get a couple of, high scoring games in our favour. That'll be a lot easier. Look, we're going to start with a new segment.
Yeah.
We're going to ask Lachie, because you said, it's a bit quirky, so we thought, hey, let's mix it up a little bit. So this one's called Are You Smarter Than a Front Rower? So Crokes is going to ask you a few questions and we'll just see how quick that brain ticks over and we'll give it a crack.
So it starts off easy, Milky, it's just a simple maths question to start off. Mate, you'll get this one. What's 5 times 10?
I reckon you might have answered.
Yeah.
50.
New segments, they always run a bit dodgy. Okay, this one's a bit tougher, mate. If you score 3 tries, kick 5 field goals, far out, sorry. If you score 3 tries, kick 5 goals and kick a field goal, how many points did you end up?
23.
Good man.
Bang. This one's a tough one. What's the capital of France?
Is this a trick question?
No.
Paris.
Bang.
Bang. Why did you think France was the capital?
No, just like some places have like their
weird capitals.
Like Canada's is like, is it Ottawa or something?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, is it?
It's not Toronto. So
No, that's a fair call.
Canberra, Sydney.
This one might be a bit tough. What is the first language spoken in Brazil?
Portuguese.
Good man. Good
Did
man.
you see the
You've done a bit of travelling.
Nah. All right, there you go. Yeah, he has done a bit of travelling. There you go. Who has the highest individual points? Who is the highest individual point scorer in Knights history?
Is it Joey John?
Yeah, it's Joey.
Bang.
It's Joey. Okay. Oh, this one's an easy. Who scored the first try against Penrith last round? Someone might have got a
Tyson Gamble.
There you go. There you go. This one's a tough one.
Yeah. How many planets are in our solar system?
Is it 8?
Yeah. How many can you name?
There used to be 9?
Yeah, there used to be 9. Yeah.
Boy, I'm glad that you knew that because I was like, is this one of those, is Pluto is an actual planet type
No, it's
things?
not anymore. Did you know the moon's 10 times the size of Pluto? And we used to classify Pluto as a planet. There you go.
There you go.
Crazy, isn't
So
it?
what do they classify it now as?
A dwarf planet.
So just no good, you're out.
No, it's just
You're
not
on
a
your
planet,
own. Yeah, okay.
How many can you name?
Yeah, not many.
Give it a crack.
Jupiter,
Yeah, that's one of them.
Uranus,
Yep.
Earth.
Yeah, that's definitely one of them. It's good you know that one.
That's a tick. Saturn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Come on, bro. What's the one closest to us?
Mars.
There you go.
That's about it.
Mercury, Venus, and Neptune.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah. No, but that was a good effort.
I was never actually getting that. Just to be fair.
Yeah.
You said 8, so that's good enough. Who was the current opposition leader in the Australian government?
I wouldn't even know this.
No, I don't even know if I could tell you who's in charge at the moment.
Yeah, I don't
Really?
even know who
Do you know the Prime Minister
Is it Albanese?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
Bang.
Peter Dutton is the opposition leader.
yeah.
Don't even know what that means. What is the highest grossing movie of all time?
Is it still Avatar?
Still Avatar.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Oi, I just want you to know I'm very impressed.
Yeah, bro.
So far,
8 from 9. 8 from 9. Pretty good. This one's more of a riddle.
I know.
Here we go.
Go on,
What goes up but never comes down?
I actually have heard this before. Is it my emotions? No.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, we could be talking for a while.
Therapy session.
Oh, no.
It's your age.
I'm so angry.
Yeah, you should have got that. You did pretty good, bro. 8 from 10.
Thanks.
Well done.
Well done, mate. Well done. Listen, we're just going to get into it a bit. We're talking earlier about your time here in the last couple months. When you first made the move, how was it?
It was pretty daunting. Obviously, I was when it all started to sort of pick up down at the Sharks, I started to get really excited, and then all of a sudden I was in the car without my family driving up the highway, and then I was like, oh no, I have to meet like 30 new blokes. So it was a bit daunting, but from the word go, pretty much as soon as I got here, everyone was awesome, and it just felt like it just clicked in and just felt right pretty much from the word go.
You speak about how you said you had to meet 30 new blokes. Something that everyone picked up on pretty quick was by day 2, you'd like memorise everyone's name. Did you sort of make an effort to do that to show how much you cared, or was it just sort of a unconscious thing that just sort of happened?
I'd like to say I'm super smart. No, I actually looked at the team website.
Yeah.
Just because, like, if I'm going to play fullback, I had to know everyone's name and position. So I was sort of just going through putting faces to names for a couple of nights, and then sort of come.
Because it was something I remember we all sort of, and I actually spoke about it on the podcast about how quickly he remembered everyone's names, and he was talking in video sessions about these young boys, and he was putting a name to their face. It was pretty cool.
People sort of forget that side of things, hey? Because like, you've got like a social aspect to it that you want to obviously know who you're talking to and say good day to everyone. But there's actually a tactical thing where you actually have to know who's who. Yeah, because you're yelling at the back.
Oh, mate, go left. Other mate, go right. So, no, I had to do something.
Look, mate, talk us about growing up and playing footy. Was it always rugby league for you? I know you've got a background in rugby union as well, but, you know, is that always your inspiration to end up in the NRL?
Yeah, like when I was young, I started in league. I think I was maybe 10. Yeah. And I always went through the junior league program, didn't play much rugby union, and was always like, everyone thought I was a bit weird. I was in the front yard versing like Joey Johns and like Brad Fittler and stuff, and thought I was playing either on their team or playing against them, and there was no one else out there. So, but then obviously I got a chance to go to sevens when rugby league wasn't really kicking off. So I obviously grabbed that, but the dream was always to try and come back.
Yeah. So you Coffs boy originally?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got a game there against your old club, the Sharkies, too, coming up a bit later in the year.
Yeah, you all have to put up with him, mother.
How many people in the crowd will be from the Miller clan and you know, the surrounding sort of social circle?
Oh, yeah.
A couple of ticket requests?
Yeah. Oh, Mum, straight away, as soon as they went on sale, bought like 20 grandstands. I was like, I could have got your tickets, mate. But, no, they're super excited. And then obviously a lot of friends up there too. So
you said you made the move to sevens to union, when league sort of wasn't kicking off. About what age were you when that happened?
I think I was 22, so I was a fair bit older.
Yeah,
I did the whole went to Q Cup for a bit, came down to Sydney for a bit.
Who'd you play for up in the Q Cup?
Went to Mackay.
Oh, yeah, the Cutters.
Yeah, did a pre-season up there, and I used to surf heaps, like religiously.
Yeah.
And there's no surf up there.
Yeah.
It's just fishing and crocodiles and stuff. So I did a pre-season and then drove home and just didn't go back. So it was a bit immature, but I was about 22 for sevens.
And then, you got picked up by them, and then it all sort of just kicked off there, eh?
Yeah, it was like I had a mate that sort of got me into the sevens. He's a bit of a legend of the game. And then the coach at the time said it's a roller coaster. Like you can go up and down really quick. And then literally within 2 weeks I went to Fiji, and then the following week they took me to Hong Kong for a World Series. And then I sort of come home, thought that was it, and then I went to Singapore, and it just sort of flowed on. So, and then I was lucky enough to be there for about 5 years.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, you actually represented Australia in the sevens at the Tokyo Olympics. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was like obviously pretty cool. It was a bit weird because COVID was so full on at that stage. But no, when we got over there and got in the village, you couldn't leave the village or anything. But when we got in the village, everyone was super normal. All the other athletes were there. It was really cool to see like all the other athletes. And I really remember when, because the the athletics is a bit later on in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I remember all the athletics people arriving. You're just like, man, these guys are super athletic. Like
Yeah.
really special. Like their legs are ridiculous. So that was really cool to see all the other athletes. But yeah, it was a pretty cool experience.
Who would have been like one of the most famous?
Yeah.
I actually seen Yao Ming. He was the coach of the
Oh yeah.
Chinese basketball women's.
Yeah, right.
And like he's actually giant, like huge.
Is he the ex-player?
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, he's like
massive.
7'6" or something.
Yeah, he's like bigger than Shaq.
He's
and
massive.
He's,
yeah,
he's the dude that Shaq always talks about.
Yeah.
Like, used to like, But he's huge. It was cool to see him. But then I seen like Andy Murray and heaps of soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Heaps of soccer players too. So it was pretty cool.
What was it like getting to
Kevin Durant.
Did you see him?
Yeah, he came into the village, just did a little walk through.
Did they stay at the village as well?
I thought they had their own.
No,
boat.
they
Surely the
always
big
had their-
superstars
No,
have
they
their
always
own.
had their own. Like
Yeah.
in Rio, they had a boat, apparently.
Yeah,
where
wow.
They just lived on the boat. But nah, they come through. Not sure what they come through for.
Yeah.
But, they just came through.
I think we all know what those villages are like.
Said hello to everyone, and then they went. Then they went home. But that was pretty cool.
Yeah, what was it like getting to represent your country? Was it just incredible?
Yeah, it's like a little bit different to obviously sevens. You sort of get to. It's a pretty weird sport. You get to represent your country every time you play, sort of thing. But then, I suppose when I was younger, I wasn't like it wasn't even a dream of mine to play in the Olympics because it wasn't a sport that I was good at. Like rugby sevens only came in to the Olympics a little bit later, so I was never really fast enough to be a sprinter or good enough to be a swimmer. So, that was really cool to actually get to represent Australia in the Olympics.
Did you get a chance to kind of, you just told us, you did a pre-season up at the Q Cup, didn't like it, drove back. You went from that to being in Tokyo representing your country and you're seeing Kevin Durant walk down the street. Like, did you have a chance to kind of really sink in about how much, there's a bit of a journey and where you were at that point?
Well, yeah, sort of like after the Olympics, actually, I had a lot of time off before I went to the Sharks. It was like, because the pre-seasons at the two clubs, two sports are very different. So the signing window for NRL was ages. So I just sort of sit on my ass at home waiting. But I had a lot of time to reflect then on like the journey, because obviously when you're in the journey, it's sort of like it just keeps sort of going and you don't really have that time. But I had Billy, my son, was just born before the Olympics. So that time after the Olympics, I had a lot of time to reflect. And I was like, this is pretty... been pretty lucky.
So good.
You mentioned a bunch of different places around the world that you've been to. What's your favourite?
I really enjoyed Vancouver.
Yeah.
That place was cool, and the stadium that you play in, it's enclosed, and they had like 45,000 people there, so you can imagine it was super loud.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, like Cape Town's really nice as well. I think it's like a really beautiful place, but it's also a bit scary.
Yeah, it is a little bit dark, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, I was pretty lucky to go a couple of places. It was pretty nice.
Yeah. So you're talking about your transition, or you had that downtime between when the Olympics finished and when you went back to the Sharks. When you started playing league again, was there anything that sort of, did it come back quickly to you, or was there a little bit of a few growing pains of getting back used to playing league again, or is it like riding a bike, as soon as you started, you were back into it?
Oh, like it was, in a way, it was like, it felt a little bit more natural than rugby union, and riding a bike, like you said, but I've never played at this level before, so the defence side of it as a fullback, and then being able to manipulate defenders was just super different. So it took me a fair while to sort of get a hold of it.
Yeah.
And even now I'm still making heaps of mistakes.
Did you grow up playing in the halves?
Yeah.
So when you went to the Sharks, was there any chat about you being in the halves, or?
Like I did like a couple of games for Newtown where I played like 5'8", and then I played fullback. They got a young fella they called Cade Dyke, so me and him would just rotate, sort of thing. So there was a little bit of talk, but in the end I just played a fair bit of fullback.
Yep. What do you think's harder?
I actually probably, it's hard, but they're both super hard.
Yeah.
But 5'8", like playing in the halves is quite hard, I find. Like you have to organise a lot, but then defensively as a fullback, it's super hard as well. So it's a tough one.
Mate, obviously the start of the year you've been playing fantastic. You really hit the ground running from round one onwards. Was there anything that you had in your head that you wanted, as something to bring into the team straight away? Like, obviously you've got a style of play and things that you like to do naturally, but was there anything that sort of you were like, look, from day dot, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to be known for this trait? Or, has it just kind of come naturally and you're just kind of going with the flow?
Well, yeah, I just wanted like something that I could control, which is like pretty energetic person, so I wanted to try and bring the energy, and also like it's not hard for me to take a bit of effort like off our forwards, so a lot of carries. So I just wanted to be energetic and make a lot of carries and then sort of build my game off that.
So Crokes is a man in the middle. What do you reckon?
helps a lot.
Yeah, and he's been doing that.
Put my arm around him after every game. Thanks, mate. Thank you for that. Because he's taking a lot of carries for us boys when when the middle's cooking. And, he's pretty selfless when he's out there on the field. It's good fun. Except one game he had to put his arm around me when he threw me that pass against Manly.
Dude, I wasn't at Mudgee, so I was watching it on the telecast. And when you threw it, and then I saw it was Jake Trbojevic.
No, it was Lachie Croker. No,
was it?
Jake got me later in the game.
I was like, oh man, Crokes, you all right, dude?
Oh, no,
and Lachie was just like, oh no.
Don't worry, Tyson Gamble threw me one on the weekend as well. Lucky I held on to that one. Mate, we got a pretty good fullback at this club. KP, who's obviously been out for a little bit, but what sort of role did he play when you first come to the club in helping you as a fullback?
KB's actually really good. Like he never ever once overplayed it, or like he just sort of just sat back and just said, "Oh, if sometimes I do this, it helps me a little bit. But if you don't like doing it, don't worry."
Yeah.
He was really good like that. So he did give me like a couple of really good pointers that I use, but he was never like, "Oh, you should definitely do this." He was always like, "Oh, like I found it helped me when I played, and Billy Slater taught me this, and I thought it helped. So if you want to try it, try it out." He's just a calm head. Like it's just good to be around.
Yeah, very calm.
And obviously this week he's back against the Cows. It's going to be a great game. Are you looking forward to having him back on the field and sort of trying to start and build those combinations with Jacko, yourself, and KP?
Yeah, and like obviously we've had such a good run while he's been out with like Tyson Gamble and Phoenix played there. Yeah. But like KP's like one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
And just his presence is like, it's going to make teams be a bit nervous. So I reckon that, give us a couple of games and he's going to be firing.
I wanted to ask this question. I thought of it when I was driving in here today.
You were thinking of me on the drive?
I was actually. Think about you a lot. It's the difference, the different kind of pressure. So like when you're playing in a semi-final in the Olympics for your country, there's a lot of pressure in that moment, but then like against Manly, you have a kick to win it. There's a lot of pressure there. Do you ever think of those kind of moments? Because you're pretty calm and you're pretty relaxed.
No, I'm like, I actually don't mind. Like I try and pride myself on being able to just flush things really quick and then get on with the next job. It's like, not that I don't care. It's just I find that if I have in the past not flushed it, I compile the errors.
Yeah.
So I actually like the pressure moments. It's just I've had two and I'm numb from two. So,
that's all right. We'll be 1 from 3 when we get the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. 1 from 3 next time. So, no, I actually like them. And I don't know, if I was a bit younger, I think I'd struggle a bit with them.
Yep.
But I'm a bit older now, and I feel like I like those sort of situations.
It's funny you asked that, Crokes, too, because Lachie and I were out on the golf course the other week.
Oh.
And I asked the exact same thing. I was like, dude, if you hit a bad shot, you get heaps into yourself, and then it's like it never happened. And then you're on the next thing. And he's like, it's kind of like the same thing on the field. Like, I just, that happened. Cool. On to the next one.
It's like the memory of a goldfish, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
except I'm terrible at golf. Not very great. Not very good. But I'm going to try. I'm going to get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Take some tips off your man KP because he's got a few.
Yeah, nah.
He goes
that
all
guy.
right.
He's too good.
He goes all
Good
right.
at everything. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back for a 3 Goats with Crokes segment. And this is Knights HQ Podcast. Welcome back to Knights HQ Podcast, brought to you by Maxwell Recruitment and Training. We're here with our number 1, the man at the back, Lachlan Miller. We're going to do 3 Goats with Crokes. Now, this segment is normally it's our 3 greatest in an area.
Yeah.
And we change sort of what area or what sport or, movies or whatever it may be. So today we're going to talk about cross-code athletes.
Yeah.
And Crokes, man, take it away. Who have you got?
So it was meant to be sort of NRL players, but I read it as athletes. So at number 3, I've gone Elise Perry. Now, she debuted for the Matildas when she was 16, and she's been playing in the women's cricket team. And I think the women's cricket team might be the most successful Australian team we actually have.
Yeah, I can't, obviously I'm not an avid women's cricket fan, but I can't remember them ever seeing that they lost.
Got beat, and they have been winning trophies easily. So, and Elise plays a big part in that.
Yeah, cool.
And I used to have a crush on her when I was younger. So,
Yep.
I know she's a big fan too. So when she listens, she'll probably.
I think
hit
she
us up.
puts that ahead of her Matildas in Australian cricket team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will.
At number 2, I've got Brad Thorne. Now, he played for the Broncos throughout the 90s. He was a big back row, played Origin and stuff, won premierships. Then went over into the Union, played for the Crusaders and played, I think he had 50 caps for New Zealand.
Wow.
And there's just stories wherever he went, he won.
Yeah.
Great leader. They said when he went to New Zealand, he changed the way they trained and stuff like that through his ethics. And
Yep.
so I got Brad Thorne. And then
Who was in the back row with him?
probably Gordy.
Tallis and
Tony Carroll, maybe.
Tony Carroll.
Yeah.
And then
in those
was he there when
90s.
Thaiday?
Thaiday would have been like mid 2000s and
Yeah.
that. But
What a team.
Yeah.
Those Broncos teams.
yeah,
in
they
there
were a
are
G up
holy-
bar. They were
holy.
ridiculous. And then at number 1, I got SBW. He was a cross code for everything, you know, Union,
Still is.
league, boxing.
Yeah. He's like the KP thing.
Yeah.
Like just
could
good
have
at
done
everything.
could have done anything.
Yeah.
I remember talking to Brian McDermott about when they signed him for the Toronto Wolfpack, and about the amount of people that checked into his live stream to watch Sonny Bill sign the contract with Toronto. The numbers were ridiculous.
I remember him
so
telling
he
me
is
the story,
a literal global superstar. Like he hangs with high quality athletes around the world. You know, hangs with Islam Makhachev, who's a UFC champion at the moment, and like Khabib Nurmagomedov and stuff like that. So he is like top tier all around the world. So those were my 3. Milky, you got any?
Yeah, you've obviously named a couple of red hot ones there. But off the top of my head, a guy called Matt Rogers.
Matty Rogers.
Yeah, obviously.
Sharks connection there.
Yeah. Sharks, Titans.
I got on the drink with Matty Rogers one day, actually.
How
Up in
was
the
it?
Gold Coast. Yeah, really, really good. He's a good lad. He's a good
awesome.
fella.
And when he went to the Wallabies, he was outstanding. So obviously Israel Folau went. I think he's played.
He's a
he
triple
played
co-
AFL.
he's a triple coder, yeah.
But he was ridiculous in what he did in the NRL, and then he just went to the Wallabies, and nearly won them the World Cup type thing.
Yeah.
So he was ridiculous, and I think that's what they're hoping.
Is Carmichael Hunt a triple as well?
Yeah, I think
AFL
so, bro.
Union
Yeah, I
League?
think
Yeah,
so.
wow.
Yeah.
Some guys just can have
Some
it all.
blokes have just got it. Some blokes have just got it. KP could honestly be a triple.
You reckon?
Plus golf, probably.
Yeah.
He could be a triple. He was going to go to... I mean, this isn't KP's pod, but you know he was going to sign with an AFL club before he got signed by the Knights.
Really?
Good story, yeah.
There you
I think
go.
it might have been Brisbane Lions.
Really?
I think so. Anyway.
Yeah. You know.
And your number
And,
1,
yeah.
Milk?
I reckon probably Anthony Mundine. He
Yeah,
talks.
John.
He talks the talk, but
Yeah.
he's like one of the best boxers for his weight, and then what he did in rugby league. He's a freak. Chip chase,
And he left rugby
backflips.
league in his prime. Like,
Yeah,
he was.
yeah.
Well, you know, I can barely do my job. So to hear all these guys killing it in multiple codes is awesome.
Growing up, Milk, did you have anyone you idolise, like in terms of playing wise? Because you sort of don't play in terms of like anyone we've sort of seen before, and I think that comes from your Union background. The leg speed and your really good agility is just so different to the way I've seen most fullbacks play. Is there anyone you sort of idolise in any code?
I was all rugby league when I was younger. So I was always really small. I still am, but like I didn't really grow until I was about 18.
Yeah.
And so I really loved like watching Matty Bowen. I just thought he was the man.
Yeah.
And
Best.
obviously I was from Crokes, so Newcastle's just down the road. And when I was really into it, the Knights was when they won those 2 premierships. So Joey Johns as well was like those 2 guys were just friggin' the best.
Do you get to pinch yourself now that you've worked with Joey Johns and he's giving you raps and you're on Matty's show and stuff like that? Like, is it just crazy how quick things can happen?
Yeah, I was talking to my mates about it. It's like they're like, "Mate, that's so weird." And like even like I think it was like 2 years before, 2 years ago, or maybe even a tiny bit longer. Me and my 2 mates went into the Matty John show to watch.
Did you really?
Just 'cause we thought it was so cool. And then I was like, "Oh, this is weird," but yeah, it's definitely.
I think Matty Bowen's influence in that era, I think, is highly underrated
Incredibly.
because JT just did a potty with Bloke in a Bar, and he said one of the major reasons why he signed up there was to play with Matty Bowen.
So I remember years ago when was it Jacob Lillyman played here? He come here for a little bit.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
did.
yeah, and he used to be up there.
Yeah.
I remember sitting down at breakfast one day. This would have been like 5-6 years ago, and I asked him about his time up at the Cowboys, and I asked him how good JT was, and he goes, "Oh, look, to be honest, a lot of the stuff come off Mango."
Yeah, wow.
We said we'd set up game plans for Matty, and because Matty Bowen would like take so much attention from the defensive line, JT would throw a dummy and go through and sort of look like the genius in a way. Like JT was a genius.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just saying like how big. Yeah, he influenced that team was pretty special.
Yeah, because like obviously, you know, this is only my 3rd season here at the Knights.
Yeah.
And talking to more players and sort of talking to blokes sort of, you know, off the field, and his name comes up a lot more than what you would think. So, yeah, man, definitely underrated his influence on the game.
Tell
100%.
us about little Billy, mate. We'll finish on a family note.
Yeah, no, he's the best. He's at a like good age now. He's sort of like, he doesn't really know what Dad does, but he loves coming to the footy, and then when like after the footy game, he loves coming on the field, and he's just at a good age. It's just awesome. Yeah. We got like 3 more months with him, and then we got another one. So
I know.
Yeah,
Ellie's cooking up another one. So is Ellie having another little? He's having another boy or no?
No, it'll be little girl this time.
Little
girl, and then I think we'll have a break for a bit, and then. Yeah, if we have another one, we do. If we don't, we don't.
And recently married. When did you get married?
Off season.
Yeah,
October. It was. It was like pouring rain the whole of October, and the one day that it wasn't, we nailed it. So
nice.
Yeah, very lucky.
Where did you get married at?
In Manly. Manly. Yeah.
Best day of your life.
Up there. We've got a couple. Obviously, Billy being born was pretty cool as well. But it was pretty nice. We had an awesome time.
So it's safe to say there's been a lot on.
Yep, a lot on, but even I speak on behalf of those two as well, Ellie and Billy. We love it up here, so we're very happy, and hopefully we're here for a while.
We love it. We love we love having you here, brother. Look, you can subscribe and leave a review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts for Knights HQ. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're putting the full version of the podcast up on our YouTube channel every week, and you can like and subscribe to that channel. Hit your notification bells so you'll be notified when a new video drops. There's heaps going on around the Knights at the moment, so make sure to stay up to date. Club website and our social media channels. Our social media channels is at NRL Knights. We'd also like to thank our sponsor, Maxwell Recruitment and Training, for bringing you this episode of the podcast. Crokes, Lachie, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks heaps, Milky. Really appreciate it,
thank
mate.
you.
And keep going well, brother.
Thank you.
We love having you.
We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.